Good day, everyone. You are welcome to another episode of my law class at Abdullahi Legal Academy. My name is Abdullahi Adebayo Abdurrauf. On the episode of my law class today, I shall be discussing with you how to become a lawyer in Nigeria.
To the bar as barristers and solicitors of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. You may now put on your wigs.
If this is your first time on this channel, I will urge you to subscribe to this channel and also press the notification button so that whenever we release another video that will be beneficial to you, you'll be one of those that will be personally notified. You can also like and follow our Facebook page with our username, which is Abdullahi Legal Academy. Without any hindrance, let's get into the lesson. Becoming a lawyer in Nigeria has some steps that a person that is aspiring to become a lawyer must follow. These steps serve as ingredients that are put together one after the other for such a person to become a lawyer at the end of the day. It's like when you want to boil rice, for example, maybe jollof rice or fried rice. There are some major ingredients and there are some minor ingredients that you must put together, which are rice, water, salt, seasoning, and many other things that you must put into these places before you can cook a delicious meal. This is how being a lawyer or how to become a lawyer in Nigeria is also. And you know, the legal profession in Nigeria has the law that regulates the legal profession. I have explained that in the previous lecture. If you have not watched the previous lecture, I would urge you to firstly go and watch the previous lecture before you can continue watching this one, because they can't do without each other. Now, let me take you to my notebook. As I will be reading from my notebook, I will also be showing the illustration on my board to you so that you can have a full hint of what I'm actually talking about. I have categorized all the requirements that a person needs to become a lawyer into 5 requirements. Just 5 requirements for you. Now, what is the first one? The first requirement is that for a person to become a lawyer in Nigeria, he must have conducted himself with good moral. This is the first requirement that a person needs to become a lawyer. He must not have been convicted in any court of law for a crime. He must be known to be honest and must not be deceptive. What I'm trying to explain here is that the first requirement that a person must firstly satisfy in order for him or her to become a lawyer in Nigeria is that he must be morally upright. He must be morally upright. He must have good behavior. He must not be a liar. He must not be a cultist. He must not be a fraud. He must not be deceptive. He must be an honest person. He must be morally upright. He must be morally upright. He must not have conducted himself in a way that is immoral. This is one of the requirements that a person needs to satisfy in order to become a lawyer. And this is one of the most important, one of the major requirements that a person needs to satisfy to become a lawyer in Nigeria, because it serves as a yardstick for other requirements. If a patient has satisfied other requirements but not satisfied this requirement, such a patient may only be on the verge of being a lawyer but will never become a lawyer. Now, let's go to the second requirement. He must obtain his university degree in law from a university that is recognized by the Council of Legal Education in Nigeria, and must have gone through some core law courses like Nigeria Constitutional Law, Contract Law, Nigeria Legal System, Law of Torts, Nigeria Criminal Law, Company Law, Equity and Trust, Jurisprudence, and other core law courses. What I'm trying to say here is that after you have satisfied the requirement of being morally upright, you will now advance to your degree in law at a university. Any university will do, in as much as the university is recognized by the Council of Legal Education in Nigeria. because that is one of the bodies that regulates the admission of an aspirant into the legal profession in Nigeria. He may obtain this degree in a Nigerian university or a university abroad, no matter where he obtained his LLB certificate. It must just be that the school from where he obtained his certificate from must be recognized by the Council of Legal Education in Nigeria. Now, the third requirement. After obtaining Bachelor of Laws, he will proceed to Nigerian Law School. If he obtained his law degree from outside Nigeria, he will have to enroll Bar 1 program. After then, Bar 2 at the Nigerian Law School. But if he studied in Nigeria, he will have automatic admission into Bar 2, where he will be taught the practical knowledge of the law. Since the person has satisfied the requirement of moral upright and he has obtained a law degree from a recognized university, the next thing that the person will do is to advance and proceed to Nigerian Law School, where he will be exposed to the practical knowledge of law. Because at the university level, what they will teach a law student at the university level is just a theoretical aspect of law, where you will be taught about the legal method, the legal system, the administrative law, equity and trust, company law, criminal law, and all other laws and all other courses that you will go through when you are in the university level. But at the Nigerian Law School, you will be exposed to the real life practice of law, the real practical of law, where you will be learning about the procedures and everything that is in line with the legal profession. How to dress as a lawyer, how to eat as a lawyer, how to work as a lawyer, how to do everything as a lawyer. You will be exposed to this at the Nigerian Law School. But if you study your law degree outside Nigeria, you won't be able to enroll directly into Bar 2. You will firstly enroll at Bar 1. Because when you obtain your university degree, you are not exposed to some Nigerian laws, some law like the constitutional law of Nigeria. If you study outside Nigeria, for example, now you study your law in the UK, you will only be taught the constitutional law of the UK. You won't be taught the constitutional law of Nigeria. And the same thing applies to any other person that gets his law degree from any country of the world. During the Bar 1, you will be exposed to some Nigerian laws, some laws that like constitutional law of Nigeria, the criminal law of Nigeria, the company law in Nigeria, and many other laws. But if you study in Nigeria, you will just be enrolled at Bar 2. So after you've done all the activities that is expected of you to do at the Bar 2, the next thing that you will do is that you will write your bar final exam. Bar final exam. And immediately after you write your bar final exam, your name will be shortlisted as one of the successful aspirants to the bar if you pass the exam. But before you could be admitted at the Nigerian Law School, there is one thing that you have to tender to satisfy the authority at the Nigerian Law School. There are two things, rather. There are two things that you must tender to satisfy the authorities at the Nigerian Law School. The first one is that you must satisfy them that you have a degree in law, you have a Bachelor of Laws degree, you have a Bachelor of Laws certificate. And the second thing is that you must also satisfy them that you are morally upright. When I was mentioning the first requirement, I made mention of being morally upright. And this is also applicable when you are advancing to Nigerian Law School. You must show the authority of Nigerian Law School that you are morally upright. If you are not morally upright, the Nigerian Law School will never give you admission into Nigerian Law School to study practical aspect of law. This is what we obtained from the case of Okonjo versus Nigerian Council of Legal Education. It's a 1979 case where one of the applicants sued the council to court because they rejected his admission. And during the trial, it was exposed that the candidate has actually conducted himself in an immoral way in the past. And because of this, the school said that it will never admit him to Nigerian Law School. And by application, if you are not admitted in the Nigerian Law School, that means that in Nigeria, you can never become a lawyer because it is one of the requirements that you must satisfy to become a lawyer in Nigeria. If you have not satisfied this requirement, forget about it. You cannot be a lawyer in Nigeria. At the end of your bar exam, the marking of examination and the posting of results, if you pass, the council will now issue you what is called qualifying certificate. Qualifying certificate. So it now becomes two certificates for you. Now the LLB certificate is there and the qualifying certificate is also there. So that means that to become a lawyer, you have to firstly have two certificates. Note it, two certificates. I've just talked about two certificates now. The one that you obtained at the university and the second one, the one that you obtained at the Nigerian law school, which is called the qualifying certificate. Now, after obtaining qualifying certificate, what next? Have you then become a lawyer? No, you have not then become a lawyer. There is another thing that you must do before you can become a lawyer after you have obtained your qualifying certificate. And this leads us to the fourth requirement. After then, he will proceed to the body of ventures. He will tender his qualifying certificate to the body of ventures and also show the body of ventures that he has satisfied all its requirements. And let me tell you this, the requirement that a person must satisfy when getting to the body of ventures is that he must satisfy the body of ventures that he is morally upright. How many times have I mentioned about moral upright now? I think it is more than 2 or 3 times I'm making repetition of being morally upright, being morally upright, being morally upright. It is a kind of requirement that a person must take serious when becoming a lawyer is taken into cognizance. Now, let's move further. Body of ventures will now call him to the bar according to section 3, subsection 1 of the LPA, that is Legal Practitioner Act. It is always held in a kind of ceremony. Now, let me explain this further. Once you tender your certificate to the body of ventures, that body of ventures, here I am, I want to become a lawyer. I've had my law degree. I also have my qualifying certificate that I obtained from the Nigerian law school. It is now your turn to do what is next for me to become a lawyer. But when you are tendering your certificate to the body of ventures, you must also satisfy the body of ventures that you are morally upright, you are not a cultist, you are not a fraud, you are not immoral, you are modest, you have conducted yourself in a moral way from the beginning of your life up till that moment that you are seeking admission into the legal profession. And let me tell you this, the body of ventures is a body that was established under Section 3 of the Legal Practitioner Act of 1975. They are the one that have the power to call to bar anybody that is qualified to be called to bar in Nigeria. So that means that after you have obtained your degree certificate and qualifying certificate from Nigerian Law School, you will need the body of ventures to make you a lawyer in Nigeria. The body of ventures is the body that has the sole power to call you to bar. And after you are called to the bar, you will become a lawyer. Once you are called to the bar by the body of ventures in Nigeria, you have become a lawyer. You have become a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The call to bar ceremony that is organized by the body of ventures is always in a kind of ceremony. And even let me tell you this, you must be there. You must be there. You must be present there. You must be there by your own self. You can't go by proxy. Nobody can represent you there because the body of ventures will have to see you there. They will tender your certificate to you by yourself, not by proxy. So if you are not there when the call to bar ceremony is being held, that means for that time you won't be called to bar. And that time, even though you have your qualifying certificate and your law degree, and you will not be called to bar, and by implication, by that time you won't become a lawyer. After you are being called to the bar, what will the body of ventures do for you? They will issue you the certificate of call to bar according to section 4, subsection 1 of the Legal Practitioner Act of 1975. They will issue you a certificate called Certificate of Call to Bar, a call to bar certificate. After you have been issued the certificate of call to bar, like I said earlier, you now become a lawyer. You now become a lawyer. See how interesting is it? And then congratulations if you can go up to this level. everybody will congratulate you, because right from the university day, 5 years in school, up to 1 year at the Nigerian law school, making 6 years altogether, and proceeding to the body of ventures, satisfying all the requirements and becoming a lawyer, plus all the years that you use at the secondary and primary school. It's not easy to become a lawyer in Nigeria. Honestly, it's not easy to become a lawyer in Nigeria. And once a patient has been issued a certificate of call to bar according to Section 4, Section 1 of the Legal Practitioner Act of 1975, such a patient has become a lawyer. But the person that becomes a lawyer, according to this profession of the law, just become a lawyer by title. You can't even do anything. You just have the title being called a lawyer. By then, you may be the only privilege of lawyer that you will be enjoying by then is that you will just be called the name of being a lawyer. Because if you have not forgotten, I made mention in the previous video that according to Section 2, Section 1 of the Legal Practitioner Act, a person is entitled to practice law in Nigeria if and only if his name is on the roll. Now, let me tell you this. You have gotten your degree certificate, you have gotten your qualifying certificate, you have also gotten your court bar certificate, and then you cannot practice law. Because of what? Because if you don't forget, your name has not yet been enrolled in the roll of the legal practitioner. And this leads us to the fifth requirement. The final step is that he has been called to the bar by the body of ventures and has been issued a certificate of call to bar. He must proceed to tender the certificate to the chief registrar of the Supreme Court, after which the chief registrar of the Supreme Court will enroll his name in the register of the legal profession according to the power given to the registrar in Section 7, subsection 1 of the Legal Practitioner Act. The Section 7, subsection 1 of the Legal Practitioner Act says that a lawyer will be enrolled on the legal practitioner roll by the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And do not forget, Section 2, subsection 1 says that if your name is not on the roll, you can't practice law. That means that after you have obtained your certificate of call to bar, you will now proceed to where after the Supreme Court of Nigeria and do what? And tender your certificate of call to bar and your qualifying certificate to what? To the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. He will now enroll you into the registrar of the legal profession. And after you have been enrolled, you'll be given a roll call number. And you have to know this, every lawyer in Nigeria has a roll call number. But before you can get that number, you see all the processes that you must firstly pass through. The first one, you must be morally upright. The second one, you must have a law degree. The third one, you must proceed to law school, have a qualifying certificate. The fourth one, you must have certificate of call to bar, tender to the body of ventures. After you certify that you are morally upright, and after then, you now go to the Supreme Court and tender that certificate of call to bar and qualifying certificate to the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, after which he will now enroll you in the register. And after you have been enrolled in the register, you will be given a roll call number. And this is how to become a lawyer in Nigeria. Once all these requirements have been satisfied, you have become a lawyer. Once you have satisfied all these requirements, congratulations to you. You have become a lawyer. And that brings us to the end of this class. Do not forget to share, like, and comment on this video. It's very important. It's very important. Please comment, because comment gives us a kind of feedback, and feedback is like the oil that we use to eat the yam of our inspiration and motivation. Please comment. Please share this video, and please subscribe to this channel, and also press the notification button. You can also join on our Facebook community with our username, which is Abdullahi Legal Academy. The next topic that, as I've been discussing with you in this class, is the privileges and the restrictions of a lawyer. Before then, I wish you a wonderful legal day ahead.